So there's a lot of confusion and mix-up on people, including myself initially, about if people were meant to be in your life at certain times. Now, I knew that a majority of people from my past were indeed not meant to be in my life. And a lot of people online seem to be a bit confused about, how do I know this boyfriend, girlfriend is the right one for me? And in terms from like a biblical standpoint, and a standpoint where it's easy to identify these things and take into account. And people might ask, like I said, is this person meant to be in my life? Well, I'll put it this way. Some obvious answers, red flags. The short answer is no. But let's say if you are with somebody, right? And in your personal life, right, you're just not happy. You're just not feeling uplifted. You don't feel like that contentness. But that person is, let's say, not like a bad person. They're not like a red flag, but like, let's say they're not like overly, like, maybe you're becoming born again. You became born again and they necessarily didn't. Should you ditch them, or should you like stop being friends? And this could apply to a friendship too. Well, if they're willing to change and they support you and they love to see you happy and grow on your walk and in your journey, then maybe stay with them. Or do this test. Let's say if you're elevating, you're taking care of your life, you're getting in better shape, you're getting closer to God, you're doing all these great things, and they're supporting you, and they're like, they get inspired to do the same and to seek the Lord, then 100% yes, you should definitely stay with that person. And because that's a green flag. It's a green flag when people don't get jealous of the other party and they want the best for them, they cheer you on. Now, things to be considered too, like humans, we have free will. So God cannot force us to love him or follow him. You know, he is who he is. Like it says in Exodus, I am that I am. So it's almost like in a way that people could choose to do good to lead someone to Christ, right? Or they cannot. So as it says in the Bible, many are called, few are chosen. The many are called part, like many people are called for a lot of great things, and along with their families and other people, but they refuse that calling, and so they kind of sabotage their own blessings, and they probably will likely sabotage your blessings as well if you stay with them. And that tree is so pretty. I like looking at trees. I'm a nature guy. So they're sabotaging their own life, their legacy, and God had plans to prosper them into the person they're meant to be, but they didn't take heed to the signs, or maybe they saw the signs, but they didn't want to give up their lifestyle of sin, you know. So take into account, when you're born again, be watchful on how these people operate in your life. Like I said, if they respond positive and like they're trying to, you inspire them to make life changes as well, or like for them to make life changes as well, then I think that could be a great match made in heaven. This phone off, so pull over. Cops are kind of known to pull people over in this small town, little area in Texas. I've encountered people in my past, friends, that people I wasn't like super close to, but I saw potential in them, or like they didn't really have too much jealousy in their hearts, and they were willing to grow and change. And when you pick somebody for like a spouse, like no one's going to be perfect, so no one is perfect. But keep in mind, like, are they willing to like change for the better? And unfortunately, just a lot of people aren't willing to change, or they don't want to change their life, you know? And you just sense that grouchiness on them when they're like presenting them with things of God and about Jesus Christ, and then they're like kind of like this. You just tell in their face they're not about it. Not about it. Yeah, but yeah, people could sabotage their own blessings from God by not willing to follow them or follow God. God has great plans to prosper so many of us. All of us, if we choose to be righteous, but we have a choice. We have free will, like I said. God doesn't force us to follow him. You know, like, I love God so much that like I'm trying to live a life to please him, because he saved me out of really bad situations, and I know I owe my life to him 100%. But yeah, people aren't willing to walk with you on the narrow path, and yeah, you might have to end that friendship, or if you're in a relationship, then you're gonna have to break that off, break up. That's just how it is. And don't be sad or upset about it, because truth be told, like, it's their fault, because they refuse to take heed to the signs. This generation is so like, oh, it's not about a fault thing. Well, it is, because God, you know, God's gonna come back to judge the living and the dead. And I'm not condemning anybody, but it's true. They refuse to jump into that calling that God had for them and you, because you already became like born again before they did, and they had an opportunity to have an amazing life, like with God and Christ by their side, but their pride and ego got in the way. And yeah, that's on them. But hey, that happens, count it a blessing, because they're not meant to be in your life. That's the conclusion. That's the answer. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm out of here.